So I'm waiting for one of the buddies to hop in. So do me a solid for folks that don't know you or don't know your podcast or what you do. Please, Connor, introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Connor Flynn. I'm originally from Ohio. Now I live in Florida. I'm an explorer, an author, a musician. Just I'm out there, man. I'm living it to the fullest. I lived out in my car for a while across America and couch surfed and met many great people. And I wrote 3 books: Eerie Swamps, Road Trip to Eden, Monsters and Mysteries Around the Corner, and Big Brother Bigfoot. And I'm working on 3 more right now. And I've been active in the field investigating. I just got back from Cohelee Creek, covered bridge up in Georgia a couple days ago, investigating the Goat Man. I was at Falling Waters State Park, home of a bunch of sinkholes and rake-like creatures like from The Descent. But there was another type of creature with a collared hood, kind of like the Flatwoods Monster, a type of alien Bigfoot that this woman spotted with her dog. So I had to check it out. I made a video about it. I met this family that's been road tripping across America in their van, and their tag is Our Van Quest, and chopped it up with them, and just everything has been aligning perfectly, man. And I'm really persevering and pushing forward, but it's like climbing through a jungle because 2020 and 2021 have been very challenging, and I was turning 27 last year. And I felt like the 27 Club, and I got laughed at last night when I said that. They're like, Connor, you're not famous. I'm like, I'm not even saying I'm famous. I'm saying, 27 Club is everybody. We got to get past 27. And it's just so funny that they even thought I'm not Kurt Cobain. No one is, but look at the numbers worldwide. The numbers, you have a chance to croak at 27 compared to every other number in your 20s and 30s. It's wild.
So I have something I want to share with you. All right. And this is the new design for the shirts, for the stickers.
Dude, I love it. I remember seeing that Yeti Sasquatch type logo before. And it was a little bit different, but it was that type, and that's impressive, man. I want a shirt as soon as I can.
All right, so that, sir, is the Port Chatham Hairy Man. We've kind of spoken a little bit about him before, and he's one of our representatives for, I don't want to call it the Bigfoot mythology, but that's kind of what it is.
Yo, I'm back again.
We got to do it. We made it connect. It took some work. Ladies, gents, others at home, I got to just making this connection. Getting 3 cameras set up was a great big pain in the ass. And we unfortunately hung up on good Connor halfway through, not even halfway through. We didn't even get to talking about the Port Chatham Hairy Man. But yeah, he's our guy, but he's not our only one. Alaska has multiple sort of Bigfoot type creatures. One is like I want to say like a man bear pig, but he's like a man bear otter thing. And so I'll have more information on that guy soon enough. One of our native homies is going to come on and tell us all about that particular guy. I believe
Kushtaka? Is it Kushtaka?
I'm not going to butcher it, but yeah, it's part man, part otter, part man bear pig. Like, I'm excited about this.
Wow.
Yeah,
it reminds me of the bunny from Australia. It's like a man seal.
Not to be confused with Heidi Klum's ex-husband, also a man seal.
Man seal. How did he get
I love the Predator poster.
I'm not sure. I've been told a couple of different things, and this is kind of why we have Siri here, because one of the jobs that he has is to fact check whatever BS we throw out, and then throw it in the chat column. So I'm not 100% sure how Seal got his scars. I've heard everything from acid attacks to lupus, but I didn't know that lupus did that sort of thing. But how crazy would it be if Seal the singer did double duty as like a land monster in Australia? Like when he's not When he's not singing Kiss from a Rose, he's out terrorizing people. And it's the only thing that makes him happy.
We wouldn't be able to talk about it on Facebook, you know, because there's a ban on Australian news on the Facebook. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's it's a really weird time to live, because we know that this big bureaucracy that doubles as a social media network has real influence on the news. It has real influence on elections. And you have guys like Jack Dorsey of Twitter saying that he believes that Twitter doesn't have an impact on elections. So when you have social media that very clearly does have an impact on elections, but what you're doing with that is trying to ban the free exchange of ideas for an entire country, you should be fucking gone, sir. Like, someone else should be doing whatever it is that you are doing. That's why, as much as you edit, that's why like other countries, they have their own version of Facebook, of Instagram, of this or that, because they don't want to deal with the bullshit. And what happens is, whenever these other social media platforms begin to become acknowledged, they end up getting taken over by a fringe, right? Either it's the far right taking over Parler, or the far left taking over Instagram and Twitter. And so you end up with the opposite of a free exchange of ideas. You and I, Connor, met because of a Facebook product in Instagram. So, like, I don't want to shit on everything it does, but when you have corporations becoming, or obviously government tools, then we need to start questioning what we're using them for and why they exist in the first place.
Definitely. Because, they are tools, and it's how we use them. But if they are manipulating how we use them, exactly, we need to step out as soon as possible. I tried hashtagging vaccine recently, and it kept kicking me off the app, and I screen recorded it. And honestly, I'm scared to post it on Facebook because it's nothing but problems. You know, I don't even want to raise those flags. Everybody should already be seeing all the stuff that's going. Even if people are taking the vaccine, it's messed up that they're lying about numbers. I saw some reports saying 100% like effectiveness. Like, nothing's 100% effectiveness. Like, that's crazy. They're just throwing out numbers now and telling us new policies. It's ripping America right from our feet. I feel like I live in Germany, and it's time traveling. I saw a light flash before my eyes last night. It just showed us we need to slow down a little bit, man. We're riding down a cart and gaining speed, and we're heading towards a brick wall, and it's very scary. And the division is just, you can't even speak your mind to family members anymore, and can't even show your face to neighbors. We're in a tough time, the trials and tribulations, and I think we're gonna have like a false rescue here soon, and then comes the real action. So I'm just keeping my eyes woke through all of this, and trying to stay clear of all the distractions. I don't watch the news, and I'm trying, I'm just hiking, biking, eating right, which is very hard to do. I eat a lot of pecans and peanuts, what grow in my mom's farm, and I know that's never enough, but I can't eat microwave food anymore. I feel it zapping me inside and out. It's really tough.
I started fasting recently, and making it a part of my lifestyle. It's one of those things that I think has helped me quite a bit with clarity, because you start looking at like the foods that you're eating as a potential energy, not just something that tastes good, but why does it taste good? Is it, what chemical reaction is this artificial sugar doing to my body that my body would normally, like, my body would normally reserve this particular thing for fighting whatever the sugar is doing to me, but this artificial sweetener triggers the exact same response in my body. So, like, my body's attacking itself when it doesn't need to because I'm using an artificial sweetener. Why not just not fuck with the sweetener and just take it as it's supposed to be taken.
So,
Where are you from? Are you from Alaska as well?
yeah, Kenai.
Oh, very cool. Have you
Yeah.
what's the farthest from Alaska you've ever been?
Italy, I think
Wow.
technically. Um, yeah, I've been out a bit. See, last year, me and my brother, last year, I think last year, me and my brother went to Scotland, for like 3 weeks, and we hit Ireland too.
Very cool.
Then before that, I'd been to Italy, and then I've been to Costa Rica, and Canada, of course. But I mean, that's not a huge jump. Yeah.
Have you ever been to Eastern Canada? Like Ontario?
No, I need to.
Yeah, Niagara Falls is very cool, and then like it's Clear Lake, but there's a million Clear Lakes in Canada, I'm sure. It's Clear Lake Cottages. I stayed up there for a summer when I was like 11 for a fishing trip, and that was very cool. But I haven't been overseas to Scotland and to Ireland. I need to, and it's very sad to see the current world right now because I had all these big hopes and dreams, but hopefully it will still open up new avenues once things, I hate to say get back to normal, but regulate and adapt, maybe avenues of flight will open up for cheaper, adaptations would be made. But yeah, I've been all through the Caribbean, a couple cruises, and then Canada, Mexico, and then and then California. I've never been to Alaska. I would love to. 30 Days of Night is one of my favorite scary movies, and just I
Dude.
love the outdoors. I love snowmobiling and skiing, snowboarding, sled riding, of course. There's ski mountains, of course, in Alaska, right?
Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
got killer mountains, yeah, for sure.
Uh,
Actually, one of the local schools, they have a really decent, like, little kiddie style hill you can go snowboard, ski down. I mean, it's kind of like the bunny hill up at our local ski park and stuff. It's a pretty decent
That-
slope.
That's pretty funny. Like Brandywine Hills, Ohio doesn't have mountains, like not at least northern Ohio. It's more like hills. They're nice hills, and you're definitely able to ski. But compared to mountains, yeah, probably like mid-level at that place is Bunny Hill. At you, So.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Right on.
So can we kind of talk about the thing that brought us here today? Now we've kind of warmed up and you've introduced each other and we know who we are. So the thing that brought us together, and it's a really interesting thing to discuss, or it's not, Austin Powers, and particularly Goldmember. So my first, this is the third one. This is the final act in the trilogy, the holy trilogy that is the Austin Powers
They're
series.
still talking about doing a fourth.
Yeah, I did see that on IMDb. I was just looking it up, and I'm like, they need to make a fourth one.
Yeah.
They have so much creativity and freedom in that series, man.
Yeah.
Well, so think about the series for a little bit, and this is just going to be the quick little we can get to the Wikipedia breakdown of the film. Austin Powers and Goldmember is a 2002 American spy comedy film directed by Jay Roach. It is the third in the Austin Powers film series and stars Mike Myers in multiple roles, including Austin Powers, Dr. Evil, Goldmember, and Fat Bastard. Took in almost $300 million at the box office.
It beat out Rush Hour 2.
Huh.
Okay.
Beyonce was in it too. That might have had something to do with it, but imagine if Beyonce was in it now. That would be like the #1 movie again.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's run it back a little bit because this movie was produced by Viacom, all right, by the same people that owned MTV. All right, this film was promoted as such. It was an hour and 45-minute Pepsi commercial. It was a commercial for Paramount and their other franchises, including Mission Impossible. If you look at the people who made cameos in this film, right, just the folks that made cameos, it's really easy to go down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole. Who made the Dr. Evil cameo?
It was Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
Kevin Spacey. Oh wow.
Yeah.
All right. Who played Austin? Who played Austin Powers in the Austin Powers in the movie?
Tom Cruise.
Tom
Yeah,
Cruise.
he's a big impersonator.
You also had and you can start asking the question. Questionable Oscar winner Gwyneth Paltrow was also in the film.
Dixie Normus.
Yeah. So you start looking at like who is also, I mean, people who've had their own sort of MK Ultra connections. Britney Spears in the movie. Again, Beyonce Knowles. So much Pepsi. Pepsi, who have been involved in the Super Bowl halftime show for so long. If you wanted to look at, say, the 2020 Super Bowl, which gave us the satanic child trafficking memes galore after Jennifer Lopez and Shakira did their Super Bowl shows. Which, by the way, I mean, I'm not a big football fan or like a tailgater, but I've never been to a tailgate party where folks were like, crank up that J-Lo, man. Crank up that J-Lo.
Never.
Yeah, not some shit anyone has ever said at a football game. So like, who decided that was going to be the way to go?
This Super Bowl was really suspicious, man. With the weekend, he was going through a mirror room and everything was symbolic, and there was a bunch of 666 and it said Satan in the back. Like, stuff's just unnecessary. It's not art, you know. And everybody's like feeling bad for Lady Gaga right now. Well, she was doing human trafficking and spirit cooking with Marina Abramovich, that freaking Swedish witch. Like, you know, this is all mind control. It's MK Ultra. It's Seth Green. You know, I used to love that guy, but then I heard a lot of accusations from him for, you know, Isaac Cappy and a bunch of Kevin Spacey stuff. It's really scary. It's sad that Hollywood has kind of failed us and led us already down a path. You know, we've been so inspired by these people for so long, and we're finding out they're frauds. I saw some posts recently that said Will Smith was already executed. Like, what the heck? If so, we living in the Matrix, man. It's a crazy world.
It's a crazy world.
And he was almost in the Matrix. Speaking of Will Smith,
Yes.
he almost played the role of Neo. So let's rewind it a little bit. I haven't heard anything about Will Smith being executed. I've heard that like March 4th is going to come around and we're going to find out Trump was the president the whole time. I've heard all kinds of things. One of the things that we discussed on a live very recently was the Coca-Cola diversity training, but the Be Less White. But I think that people miss the point in that and that we shouldn't be fucking with Coca-Cola anyway. Yeah. Like, Coca-Cola has no individual person's best interest in mind. If they did, they wouldn't be making Coca-Cola. You know, so we need
They
to be.
They killed more people than the coronavirus in 2020, I bet.
Oh, I'm sure. You start looking at diabetes. You look at people with comorbidities that included diabetes. You know, it played a big role.
100%.
So, this film particularly, like, as much as I remember this film and as much as I remember really liking this film when it came out, like, I look back at it now and I see it differently because some of the things that have come out about the people that are involved in this, in their personal lives, and I know that's not necessarily a reflection of the work. You brought up Lady Gaga, and I'm glad you did. She offered up a $500,000 reward for her dogs, not for the person that shot her dog Walker. Mm. Like, fuck that, dude. Let me get my Frenchies.
I think it's all just an inside job, just to steal, you know, get the attention and something to talk about. Just because we're going to war right now, and people are talking about a little two puppies that were probably with her the whole time. It's just a big sham, you know. And that lady's behind it. And you know, I watched that movie with her and Bradley Cooper in it, and it's actually a really good movie. And she won my heart for a little bit. And then I was like, dude, this is all freaking smoke show. I fought through it. And then I saw her spirit cooking, and then one model that went missing in California, and then he was taken with a picture naked with them like the day before. No organs. Come on, man. This is dark stuff. They're not good people, and they're leading the masses. And most people we follow and most people we love them just because they haven't done the deep digging that we have, and they're told to love them, so they do. It's very scary. It makes me feel really bad for all the people that just fall for these fake prophets. And so do I. I still watch sports and stuff, and I know that goes back to the Coliseum days and showing the gladiator while they're doing the real missions in the back doors. But you just have to fight through it and walk your path. But man, these false prophets and Nephilim watchers have been dropped to deceive us, and it's really scary, just because a lot of my heroes and rock stars and these athletes have strange tattoos and symbology, and they meet up a couple times a year to discuss bad things. It's bad times. What about all the CEOs that went underground and left their companies before this pandemic started? No one can tell me that this wasn't, known, come in, orchestrated, planned, whatever the words got to be. It's all been, this is event 201. It's been written in the stars.
Connor, can we run it back a little bit to the Nephilim? Can you describe the Nephilim for me?
Yes, they are the fallen ones. They are the angels that turned their back on God, and God sent them away, banished them away, and they followed Lucifer, and they descended down on Mount Hermon, which is a real place on Earth, and the Paramount Pictures logo shows Mount Hermon, and there's 22 stars over it, and those represent the fallen angels, the Nephilim, the Watchers, the dark forces that controls the world. I think that's what all these Luciferians have been, worshiping down to. It is some scary stuff. And dipping into the Bigfoot and the Dog Man, many people like Scott Carpenter and Steve Isdall have talked about them possibly being Nephilim off-breeds or hybrids or Nephilim themselves. And you look at mud fossils, giants used to be the size of mountains. There are thousands of continents. This world is so much freaking bigger than they say, that man, they got us lied to. Trees used to go to the clouds. Jack and the Beanstalk, giants, Wolverine, man, immortal souls. It's so crazy that so much has been swept under the rug, that we're living in a little freaking bubble, and now it's getting even smaller. I just want to break free and climb the freaking beanstalk, just like Jack, bro. And yeah, the Watchers throw speed bumps and hills in and everything, man. I got pulled over on the way back from the Goatman investigation, got swarmed by 4 cops on my own road, like for taking a left too hard. I didn't break no law. Like that could have been the end for me. Over what? It's all these trials and tribulations. And if I looked a little bit different, it could have been the end for me. And I still get profiled because I look like I'm Jesus Christ. They hate what they fear, what they don't know. It's some wild stuff, man. But the Nephilim are the fallen ones that came from above. They are deities, but God sees everything above. And I'm not talking religion. I'm just talking whatever spirituality. The Creator had a team that was, a support team, and some turned their back because they didn't agree with how things were going, and they thought they knew better. Just like sometimes we think we knew better than fate, and that's everything that's written. But the scary thing is, I think the Nephilim walk among us now, and people go to church and they, censor out what they don't want to read, and they ignore the book of Enoch and the true stories of Genesis. It's so wild, man. People think heaven is a metaphor. It's a physical place. And I'll tell you what, so is hell. And so are the pillars of earth and the caves that go beneath our feet. And Atlantis is real. The ice wall. Man, where does our spirit go? Through wormholes? No. we go through energy, man. The next chapter. People just need to chill out, write down their dreams, maybe smoke some DMT, and you'll get some answers. But the Nephilim will try to dig through, and that's where it goes through the artificial sugar. I think that's their booger sugar, and we're all sipping it up. We're all addicted to everything and anything, and we're getting zapped by Wi-Fi, and our frequencies are being just shrunk by the minute. And we have to raise together, because connection is the only way to be a multiplier, and they just can't keep up with us when it's teamwork. That's why there's so much division, divide and conquer. That's their only chance, because if we're all together, it's like a battery. We will transcend this earth. Disease will be ridden from. You've heard the stories of like golden pyramids, and then the whole region is healthier. If everybody thought better and was connected, people would live longer. There would be no need for pharmaceuticals. There would be no need for any needs. We would have everything in abundance. And in this current estate, you need supply and demand, and that's sad. And there would be pure chaos, but that's the way we're wired. So some people would argue there has to be a cleanse just to restart at that. And I was getting questioned last night, what would I do if I could fix the earth? That answer. I just can fix myself and try to inspire people to fix themselves, and it's a working process. There's never just fix. It's just working on yourselves consistently and being the best you can be and sharing the information. And I don't rely on the news for freaking nothing or some authority figure. I rely on my family and friends and my people that surround me, man. It's a team of knowledge. If you surround yourself with the right people, all your needs are in abundance. I'm so big on that, man. I'm so big on that. And every day I'm in a battle with the Nephilim, my inner demons, the system that's holding us all down. And in my current life, I got it rough, but I know people got it way rougher, and that pushes me to be a better person. Like, just because sometimes I get lazy with everything, and as being lazy as a good person. And sometimes I get those hard realities, like at my comic book store, if I'm short with someone and I realize that they, needed an answer or something, I feel terrible. And sometimes you can never make that up. So one thing you can never get back is time. You can maybe go back in energy and experience, but we need to stop wasting the only thing that actually runs out. We got to stop worrying about money and everything. Well, all of the resources are in abundance, actually, but they're being regulated into, shrinkage. It's a messed up world right now.
They're kind of being controlled by a small group of people. Like all of these resources, whether it's the folks over at Nestle saying that like water is not a resource for everybody. It's not a shared resource. It can be controlled by a small group of people. And if they have that as their corporate philosophy, right, then these people clearly have no problem with using slave labor in Africa for pulling up their cocoa plants. Now, one of the things that they've known since at least 2001 was that child slave labor was being used for bringing down cocoa plants. And this is something Nestle, Hershey's, and Nestle, and there was a third one, and it's escaping me now, but one of the big chocolatiers, and they've known, and they keep pushing back their day where the day that they have to regulate it, right? Like in 2020, they wanted to push it back to 2025. They would, you'd be able to see a marked reduction in the child slavery portion of their industry. So these people who are feeding us, putting sustenance in our body, don't give a shit about us. And clearly, this has been a podcast that is all about the third Austin Powers.
Hey, time travel. We need to go back to 1975 and warn everybody of 2020. That's going to be Austin Powers 4. Maybe Mike Myers will see this movie and incorporate it in, because not a lot of people are talking about Austin Powers 3 right now. we can be part of the push. We should be the answer.
However,
Umpire, Seth Green, we got to talk to you, man. We got to get some answers, brother.
we do. And one of the things that, like, knowing that this film was released by Paramount, and knowing that the things that have come out about the people in this film since the film has come out, does it change the way that you view the movie?
Definitely. Kevin Spacey is a monster, and that's hard to look at. And then, sadly, ever since Isaac Cappy died and named Seth Green, because he was actually good friends with Seth Green, you know, it's pretty scary stuff. So I look at every movie differently now, but I still enjoy it for what it is. You know, it's a time travel movie that is funny as heck and surreal, and it's part of a good saga. You know, I can appreciate it, but I am not blind to it. I see everything, man. I see it all. I see it all.
Okay. Yeah. It's, oh, you can't forget Jared, Fat Bastard, and Jared were homies.
Wow.
Yep.
You know, like, throughout the movie, there are all these things, and I get it's been like 20 years, so like some shit's gonna age better than others. Like, there was a time where, like, you could talk about Jared and it wasn't such a bad thing. Like, Jared was everybody's buddy. He wasn't like some pedophile pervert. He was everybody's homie. He was a guy that lost a lot of weight eating sandwiches. Shit, man, South Park had an episode about him.
Yep.
He wanted to give everyone AIDS.
Oh,
He wanted to give AIDS to the kids.
they were on to something, man. What was that before or after he was already arrested?
That was way before. But let's go back. Let's talk about Family Guy. Now, Family Guy outing Kevin Spacey, but maintaining a relationship with Seth Green.
Right. And just Seth MacFarlane is suspicious too, because he was supposed to be on a flight on 9/11, and he was told not to get on the plane, and you know that he ended up making Ted, which ended up shaping a culture. You know, I just think everything's been written out kind of perfectly by these dark forces, and that's why we can't sleep on it, man. And you know, like, we were in a deep discussion last night if Kobe Bryant actually died, and one of the girls there was like, that is so offensive. And it's like, yeah, we got to check all that at the door. We know talking about this, we're trying to be respectful, but we're trying to just dig into maybe truth. You know, did Kobe Bryant go into hiding? But she made a good point. She's like, why would him and his daughter leave half the other family behind? But why did he die at the Corona Hotel? Why was there cartoons that predicted Kobe Bryant dying in a helicopter crash? You know, it's just like 9/11. It's just like all of this. Like, Caitlyn Jenner was in TV shows before that predicted that he was going to be transgender. It's so crazy. Like, all you have to do is read between the lines and look at cartoons. Johnny Bravo, all of them, they have all predicted things that are going to happen. It's some scary stuff.
That's predictive programming, and that's been used a lot. They use that a lot in advertising. Somebody sent me something recently from the Jeep ad starring Bruce Springsteen that aired during the Super Bowl. Now, if you go through that commercial and you watch it until the very end, the very center of the country is a bright red star. So like a communist star.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that would be an example of predictive programming. If you believe that the left and the Democratic Party are trying to push the United States towards communism, that's what you're going to see, because that's what's being left for you to see. If you are concerned that someone like, say, Jennifer Lopez or Shakira or The Weeknd during their Super Bowl performances, who, again, by the way, who the fuck has ever gone to a Super Bowl or professional football game and said, let's hear more J-Lo? That's what the fans want. The fans want Jennifer Lopez. They want the Raiders, and they want Jennifer Lopez. Those are the two things football fans really want.
Yeah.
So that's what we've got. Now, as far as Kobe Bryant faking his death, I don't believe it, because if you're like, Kobe was like 6'9". If you're 6'9", where the fuck do you hide unless you're around other giants? Like
I think if he's still alive, he has his own underground city, below our feet. Because there are so much civilizations under our feet. Like under Denver, there's a whole city. Like Kobe Bryant, I think, chances are he passed away. Rest in peace, Kobe. But if he's still alive, then he's down right in the same development by Hitler and Abraham Lincoln and hopefully JFK in their own civilizations, living with Aquaman. And it sounds crazy, but the fountain of youth is a real thing. The human brain doesn't have capacity to make something up, man. And tuck everlasting, drinking from the right water, you can live forever. And some of these people made deals that they didn't really think out. I heard a lot of theories about Abraham Lincoln. He didn't even want to be president, so they faked his death, and it's all a wild conspiracy, man. I've been to the Ford's Theater, and we had encounters like when we were 8th grade, just hearing strange noises on the tours, and it's just so wild looking back at like the ghostly fourth kind has always been with us, and when you're younger, you're even more susceptible to it.
I have 3 minutes left on this. One last thing, and I'm going to include all your previous stuff at the beginning of the podcast. Do you believe in lizard people, and if so, what is your definition?
Yes, I do, and there's definitely a reptilian race below our feet, and I don't know if they're the ones that are turning into these people that we see on TV. I don't know if they're the actors and politicians that we know and love, or they are just an advanced species, just like the petroglyphs and the pyramid carvings have showed us. They are bigger than us, they are stronger than us, they can step in between dimensions. But it might also just be misinterpreted giants or mound builders with strange faces. But dogmen and swamp things and predators, monsters exist. There are elves, there are trolls, the fairies. So yes, there is a reptilian race. The Loveland Frogman was this reptilian frogman or amphibian frogman that roamed across Ohio, and there was tribes and troops of like 4 of them, and they're 4 feet tall, and doctors and sheriffs have seen them. So there's creatures that are reptilians, and then there's masters that are reptilians that live below our feet in civilizations. I think there are 9 levels before hell of pillars, and there are more of them than there are of us. And it's a wild theory, but they don't even look into the oceans. They don't even look into the castles of the sky. Like I keep saying, Jack and the Beanstalk and all the Studio Ghibli, anime movies, they all show truth into the magic around us. And we're mostly particle form, but we can become wave form. Protons and electrons have that ability. So solid form 99.999% of the time. But if we can become ourselves and cleanse our true soul, we can become waveform. So I believe whatever is more earthly adapted than us can become waveform at any time, and maybe telepathy and mind speak and time traveling. And we're all just protons and electrons and vibrations, man. And if you just slow it down to a point, we're all one. And everything that has been put between us is by the Nephilim and the Watchers and the evil ones that are just trying to divide us, because we're just trying to be one hive. That's the whole goal being here. And the more division, the more we step away, the more hate. It's not good, man. It's not good. So we need to come together.
Connor, I appreciate your time. This is about to cut off because I've got the poor man's version of Zoom. Thank you so much for your time. The podcast, the YouTube channel, it's Bigfoot Anonymous. Connor, Flynn, thank you so much for your time. Siri, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your energy.
Pleasure.
We will do this again. We're having so much fun. All right. Have a great day. Have a great afternoon.